Welcome into the American Digital Network studio. I'm Haley Outen. The big news last week here at the conference office was the addition of Wichita State to the league. And to talk more about it, we're now joined on Skype by Tulsa World beat writer Kelly Hines. Kelly, just when you thought basketball season had wrapped up for the most part, this news broke last week. What has the overall perception of this addition been like in Tulsa?
Well, I think it's been really well received by all the fans and certainly by the university. This is a rivalry that goes back between the two basketball programs to, I think, the 30s, 126 times that these teams have met. So definitely in terms of men's basketball, it's very exciting news, although I think it is going to make the conference race a lot more difficult for really everyone. But, from Tulsa's perspective, athletic director Derek Gregg was on the advisory committee, to help Mike Oresco decide, whether Wichita State would be a good fit for the league. So obviously he was on board with it. And, I think from a fan perspective, having that rivalry that goes back for so long, it just brings an added appeal.
Yeah, with that rivalry already in place, do you get the sense that this rivalry could even take it up another notch now that they're guaranteed to play every year and possibly multiple times?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. This is a rivalry that, they've somewhat renewed in the past decade, having series that, would have home and home games. But I think once you introduce a conference race element to it, it makes it all that more entertaining. Wichita State, obviously, with the success that their program has had in the past decade, they've had the upper hand in that rivalry, but there have still been some really good games. I think it was 2 years ago when Wichita State came to Tulsa. They were ranked in the top 10, even though they had some injuries, but Tulsa was able to pull off that upset. So I think that, that's just going to be, how it is in the rivalry, especially now that it's going to be a conference game.
Now, geographically speaking, outside of the proximity to Tulsa, why does the addition of Wichita State make sense for the American Athletic Conference?
Yeah, I think just having another team from, that west side, even though there aren't divisions in basketball, I think it really helps with travel and just, adds to a rivalry, not just with Tulsa, but I think, SMU and Wichita State, I could see that being a great rivalry. And, Houston being also, in the area. These are programs that are going to be going up against each other in recruiting, certainly now that they're in the same conference. And I think, just to have that kind of core group on this side, teams fighting in the same area, I think that just makes it a lot more interesting.
The Americans Basketball League has been fighting for more NCAA tournament bids and better seating, something Wichita State can certainly relate to. How does the conference joining forces with Wichita State maybe help that picture a little bit?
I think it helps both of them. I think it's mutually beneficial. I think it was, win-win for both. The American had some room to improve its national profile and, trying to get into that Power Six conversation. And, when you add a program like Wichita State, obviously that's going to help things. You look at what Gregg Marshall has done there. It's pretty much incredible the level of consistency that he's been able to maintain, year in, year out. And, to come from a league that maybe didn't have multiple bids for the NCAA tournament to the American, which, I think every year is going to be in that situation where they're going to have multiple teams in the running. I think that it was just an obvious, slam dunk for both to join forces.
You alluded to the coaching job Gregg Marshall has done at Wichita State, and you've had a chance to cover just about all of the teams and coaches in this league for the most part. What does the addition of Gregg Marshall add to the level of respect of the head coaches in this league?
Yeah, I think it's incredible when you look at the coaches who are in this conference, and someone like Gregg Marshall is so well respected. He's National Coach of the Year, I think only 3 years ago. And, he's a guy who's been to the Final Four. I think that, he has a ton of respect really across the country. And so do most of the coaches in the league. So I think that just, adds another level of, respect for the entire conference.
All right, Kelly, well, we appreciate your insight and thoughts today. Thanks a lot for your time. We'll talk to you soon.
No problem.